Good morning, everybody. I apologize. First time in many months, missed my alarm. So we'll have to do with this after the fact video. I do want to thank Baruch Hashem. We have some tremendous Talmidei Chachamim this year, and I want to thank Rav Menachem Mata for stepping in and giving this year without any preparation. I don't know how he does it. I wouldn't be able to do it. So Yishar Koyach. We're holding Daf Kuf Hey Amud Aleph, about 10 lines down, Gufa. Yesterday we were discussing that after eating cheese and eating meat, you need to rinse your mouth with water and eat some bread or something to clean the mouth out. There is no machlokes, both Bisham and Basil hold you have to do both of those things. Says the Gemara, Gufa Amar Reb Zerein Kinuach HaPeh Elo Bepas. The only way to wash one's mouth out is with bread. There's rinsing the water, but in addition, you also have to wash your mouth out with something hard like bread. So it says, and the type of bread is only wheat bread and not barley bread. Because barley falls apart. So it's not something that's good enough to wash out the mouth. And it has to be not only wheat, but cold wheat. Straight out of the oven, mishter shatri. It's not good, it becomes soft and it will stick to one's throat. And again, so basically it has to be soft, cold, wheat bread. There's three conditions. Says the Gemara, but that's not the case. But we don't paskin like that. Everything, any type of food is considered washing out the mouth, besides these three things. Besides flour, dates, and vegetables. They don't cleanse the mouth properly. So Ravasi asked Rabbi Yochanan, how long one should wait between eating fleishiks and milchiks? You don't have to wait at all. It says, Mufurish, Chisda says that once you eat meat, you're not allowed to eat milchiks. But after you eat cheese, you're allowed to eat meat. So the question was different. How much one must wait between eating cheese and meat? You don't have to wait at all between cheese and meat. Without getting into it, there's some that say that cheese that was aged for 6 months, you must wait. And there's a whole nidun about the cheese in our days. Is it considered 6 months, less than 6 months? It ages in the shelf, it ages in the factory, there's chemicals, etc., etc. Gufa. If you eat meat, you're not allowed to eat cheese. Now there's machlokes rishonim why. Rashi says that anytime you eat meat, the oils of the meat stay in one's mouth for whatever the period of the time that we wait today. And the Rambam says it's not because of the oils, but because of pieces of meat that are stuck inside one's mouth. What's the difference? The difference is, what if somebody didn't chew the meat and he doesn't have any oils in his mouth? He just, let's say, swallowed the piece of meat directly into his throat. According to Rashi, it wouldn't be a problem. According to Rambam, maybe the opposite. According to Rashi, there are oils still in the throat, and that's a problem. According to the Rambam, there's no pieces in his teeth. And vice versa. What if it's he eats puree? That also. Okay. Says the Gemara weiter. Now we are going to see what is the halacha with the pieces, the small pieces of meat that stick to one's teeth, that are between his teeth. It says in the pasuk, the meat is still between his teeth. Meaning, halachically, meat that's between teeth is considered basar, and therefore, so let's say somebody waited for 6 hours. I'm not sure that this is exactly the halacha, because it could be, according to the Rambam, basar that's there for such a long time, it's no longer considered basar because it gets ruined. But once you find this meat, it's considered meat, and you have to wait from that time on. And now this line is what causes everybody today to wait. Most people wait 6 hours. There are some communities that wait less, but it's all taken from the following lines. Omer Marukva. The Gemara is going to say a saying that I'm vinegar, the son of wine. Just like vinegar is nothing compared to wine, I am vinegar, the son of wine. My father was so great. And there's 3 instances that Amirayim said it. The first one is Omer Ma'rukva Ano Lahamilso Chalabar Chamra Legabi Abba. I am, when it comes to milchiks and fleishiks, I am like vinegar compared to my father who's wine. If you would eat now meat, he would wait 24 hours to eat cheese. I don't eat meat and cheese in this meal. I eat cheese at another meal. So now, what is another meal? And this is the basis for the machlokes or the different minhagim that we have today of waiting. In the time of the Gemara, the people only ate 2 meals. There was morning and afternoon and evening, and the difference, the time difference between the 2 meals was 6 hours. And that's where our minhag today comes to wait 6 hours. What about in winter, when the days are much shorter? It could be as little as 3 hours wait between meals. Therefore, the Yaki community waits 3 hours. The Zohar says achata, it should be an hour. It should be, some people say it means even just finishing the Suda, because it says I eat another meal. So if I finish my meal at 10 o'clock and at 10:05 I start another meal, maybe that's enough. So that's where the machlokes rishonim comes into play. Says Gemara Shmuel, now we're going with the theme that I am vinegar compared to my father's wine. I am vinegar, the son of wine, compared to my father. My father would visit his properties twice a day. And I only tore my properties once a day. Says Shmuel, every time I visit my properties, I find a small coin. I benefit from visiting my properties. Abaya kept the Shmuel, and he would visit his properties every single day. He found his worker, the guy, the sharecropper that was working on the field, walking out of the field with a bunch of wood. Basically, the guy was stealing. He caught him red-handed. Exactly where are you taking this wood? What do you mean? I'm taking it to your house. My Rabbeim already warned me about people like you. They said, come visit the field every day so I can catch people like you. Ravasi would also keep the halacha and visit his properties every day. I never found any money. Shmuel said, you find money every day. You find the nister. Where's all this money he's talking about? One day, he saw there was a leak. He took off his clothing and he plugged the leak. Ramakala, he started screaming. Imagine Reb Chaim Kanievsky screaming, Rabbi, help! Osu inshe sachrua. So people came and they helped him plug up the leak. Says the Gemara, I found all the money that Shmuel said. If I add up all the days I went and all the isters I should have found, here, because I went there, I was matzliach. Happens to be that the Chavetz Chaim in Shem Olam and Perik Yud Aleph says, this whole Gemara is a mashal. What do you think? Amirayim wasted their time looking at the real estate twice a day, and if I only look at it once a day, I'm a bad guy for only looking at real estate once a day? Says the Chavetz Chaim is talking about cheshbon hanefesh. A person should view himself. He should go into his neshama and see, has he done good today? Has he done any bad? Does he have to do tshuva? Check himself. My father checked himself twice a day, and I only check myself once a day. I'm nothing compared to my father. And if you do check yourself, you'll find a coin. You'll benefit from it. Omar Avidi Barovin, Omer Rav Yitzchak bar Ashyon, Mayim Rishonim mitzvah. When you wash your hands before a meal, it's a mitzvah. What does it mean? It's a mitzvah. Mitzvah l'shmoya divrei chachamim. V'achroinim choiva. However, mayim achroinim are obligatory. As the Gemara is going to say on the base that it's a problem of melchus doimus. We are concerned that there will be some very strong salt that could blind the person. Tosfos points out that in our days we don't have melchus doimus, so therefore washing mayim achroinim is not a chayva. Whereas the Vilna Gaon says that anytime Chachamim instituted something, even if the reason doesn't exist, you still must perform that mitzvah. Meisvei, mayim rishonim achroinim chayva, emtzayin rishus. It says specifically in the Braisa that even the first water that you wash before the meal is also obligatory. So why are you telling me that the first waters are only a mitzvah? Says the Gemara, mitzvah legabe rishus chayva karelei. Because the middle water is not obligatory. So we call the first water obligatory a chayva, but really what we mean to say is that it's a mitzvah. Compared to the middle one, it's a chayv. Gufa, mayim rishonim v'achronim chayva, emtzarim rishus. Rishonim noitim be'mikli al gabi karka. The first waters you could wash with a vessel, and you could do it on top of the ground. You could pour the water on the ground. It's not a problem. Achronim ein noitim ela b'kli. The mayim achronim you only wash into a vessel. As you see, people are pretty makpid always to pour the water into some sort of cup or something. V'amilo ein noitim agabi karka. Some say that the halacha is that you should not that you should do it into a kli, but rather it means do not do it onto the floor, onto the ground. My benai. So what's the difference? What if somebody poured the water into a bunch of sawdust or something? So according to the mandoma that says it has to be into a vessel, it's not in a vessel, so he wasn't yotzei. But according to the mandoma that says as long as you don't do it into the ground, so over here he didn't do it into the ground, so he was yotzei. What temperature can you use? What temperature does the water have to be? Mayim rishonim could be any temperature, says the Gemara at this point. But mayim achronim have to be cold. The hot water softens one's hands. Rashi says, actually, the zuam or the dirt, the melchus doimus that we're worried about, will be absorbed by the skin if you soften it up with hot water. So here we have the concept of, we're turning the page of Kufhem and Beis, the concept of water that's so hot that your hand recoils from it. Or other Rishonim learn Yatziled, this means the hand actually burns from it. That's the type of water that you cannot use for mayim achronim. But if the water is so hot that your hand recoils, ein noitim b'hen, you're not allowed to use it for mayim achronim. Rashi says a very interesting lashon here, that hot water, batlu v'nishtanu mitoris mayim. They become bottled. They're not considered water. They have a different property to them. They're not the typical water that we usually use. That mayim achronim you can only use cold, but hot not. Omar Rav Yitzchak bar Yosef. So the first one was talking about mayim rishonim, and now we're talking about mayim achronim. The first one you can't do, according to this sheet, you can't do mayim rishonim also with hot water, and now we're going back that it's only on a mayim achronim. So basically, mayim achronim for sure can't use hot water. Mayim achronim you can't use hot water. Mayim rishonim is machlokes. Omar Rav Yitzchak bar Yosef Omar Rav Yanai. Lo yishonu el sheyatzi lesbem, aval ena yatzi lesbem noitlin miklal the rishonim avapi sheyatzi lesbem mutar. So here we have a shita that it's only yatzi ledis that you cannot use on mayim achronim, but mayim rishonim even yatzi ledis seems like you could use. So that's the machlokes whether you can use yatzi ledis water on mayim rishonim. And mitzoyim rishus the middle of the meal, you're washing your hands. Omer Rav Nachman lo yishanu elo bein tavshel letavshel. So the machlokes here is between two foods that are similar. Avo bein tavshel gvino, but between a food. So some Rishonim, the Tosfos points out that maybe it's talking about that it's fleishiks to fleishiks, or it's a tavshel that you can't really tell. It's a type of food that you can't tell that it has meat in it. But bin tavshel gvina chayva, that would be a chayv to wash your hands. Omer Rabbi Yehuda b'Rei Rabbi Chia mipnei ma omru mayim achronim chayva shemelch zdoim etziyashem misam esaynaim. So as we mentioned before, the point of mayim achronim is to get rid of the salt that could cause blindness. And as Tosfos says over there on Omid Aleph, that doesn't apply today. Omer Abaye umishtakach kikuto b'chayra. The amount is so minute in a tremendous core of salt. It's a small little drop of salt, and it could cause all that damage. Some people say mamish like this dime, the salt is dime. I'm just thinking like when you go to Yam HaMelech and some of that salt gets in your eyes, it's unbelievable. It feels like it's blinding you. Kol milchamai. Kol is a lashon of if you measure salt. What's the halacha? Amarlei. Certainly, if you measure salt, so you're going to get some bad salt on your hands and you have to wash it away. Now, Abai is now going to say 8 things that he thought go a certain way and they're because of a certain way, and his own Rebbe, Rabbah, corrected him. I have a chart here. It doesn't. It's not really going to do much good for everybody, but basically, these are the 8 things he said, and these are the reasons why he thought them, and Rabbah told him the real reasons. Here it is, take a good look. And you're saying that the words are not backwards. To me, they look backwards on the screen, but okay. As long as they don't look backwards to you, we're good. But we probably don't need the chart. We'll just go through them one by one in the Gemara. The reason why you don't put mayim achronim on the ground mishum zuama because of uncleanliness. It's worse. There's a bad spirit on mayim achronim water. Don't put the bad spirit on the ground. It could damage other people. And the second thing, the reason why you don't take something off the table. You have somebody else sitting on the table and he's drinking. Don't remove something from the table. Maybe he'll choke on his drink. He'll be so upset at you that through his anger, he'll choke on his drink. And Rabbi told me, it'll cause this ruach tzrada. It's some sort of craziness, some sort of headache, half a headache. And now there's a few rules here. What is the problem? It's only referring to in a situation where you take and you don't put back and you remove it for amas, and it's something that is required for the meal. Abal mishkal v'adur lesson, if you return it, it's not a problem. If it's not something you need for the meal, it's not a problem. The mortar pestle, it's that dish that you grind different spices in. So we're not talking about food. Even if you remove something that's midi, that's sudasa, it's something that we use during a meal that you cannot remove from the table. V'amar Abaya, mereish hava amino. In the beginning, the third thing he's saying, hayde chanchi nishvara mishum menakirusa. This that people sweep up crumbs from under the table is basically to be clean, right? On Shabbos, Friday night, after the meal, you sweep away the crumbs sometimes. You want to clean the house. No, that's not the reason. Rabbi says, Mishum de koshilani yusa, you leave crumbs on the floor, it could bring to poverty. Says the Gemara, an unbelievable story. The malach that's in charge of poverty tried to get to this one individual. He couldn't make him poor. He couldn't penetrate the barrier. Why? Because Zar anishvara tuva. He was extremely careful about crumbs on the floor. Yom echad Korach lifto ayavle. One day he was making a picnic on the grass. Oh, the Malach got all excited. Omer hashta vaday nofal biyodei. Right now I got him. I finally got him. Why? Because there's crumbs in the grass. Somebody's going to come and step on the crumbs, and then I'll have reshus to enter him and destroy this guy and make him poor. Says the Gemara, Basal Achil, after the guy finished the picnic, I see Mara, he whips out a shovel, Akirinu liyavle. He uprooted all the grass, Shadinu Nahara, and threw the grass into the river, and therefore the Malach still couldn't get to him. Shamidika Omar, and the person that was very careful with crumbs, he overheard the Malach saying, Vai, oy vei, the apkeyahu gavrim beise, you uprooted me from my house. Basically, the Malach was supposed to enter this person and make his body, his house, his dwelling, and he couldn't enter because this person was so careful with crumbs. You see, people till this very day are very careful with crumbs. They pick up bread from the floor, crumbs, etc. Because of this Gemara, that if you're careful with crumbs, it could prevent poverty. And another thing, where are we holding already? We are holding number 4. In the beginning, I thought the reason why we don't drink the foam off of a drink, mishumi susa, because it's disgusting. I don't think it's referring to soda, the foam that we have in soda, but it's probably talking about just in general the foam that you have on wine, beer, that kind of foam. Amar li mar, and Rabbi explained to me, it's not because it's disgusting, mishum dekoshi lecharsam, because it could cause charsam, basically runny noses. It's probably a little bit more than that, some sort of secretion that comes out of the nose. Mishtei koshi lecharsam. Now, if you drink it, it's really bad. You'll get karsam. Minpach bei, but if you blow the bubbles to the side, if you blow the foam to the side, kashi l'reisha. It'll give a person a migraine, a headache. Midachia, and if you push it off with your hand, kashi l'aniyusa, it causes poverty. Maitakante. So what do you do if you have foam? The shaki shekui. Wait until it sinks to the bottom. Says the Gemara, the charsam the chamra, and you get karsam if you have foam from the wine. Shichra. So what do you do if you have foam from the wine? You drink beer. Shichra. The shichra. But if you have foam from beer, maya, you drink water. The maya. But if you drink foam off of the top of the water, less leita kanta, there is no remedy. People say in America, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And in Bavel they used to say, Basar anyo azlani usa. After a poor person, the poverty goes after. In other words, because this individual was so poor, he couldn't afford beer, he couldn't afford wine, he had to drink water. So by drinking water, the cheapest thing, you get what you pay for basically. The foam on the water is dangerous and there's no remedy. Had he paid a little money to buy beer, he'd have been a lot better off. Vamar Abaye Mereish Havamina, number 5. Abaye said in the beginning, I thought, the reason why we don't eat vegetables that are tied by the gardener, it looks like you're some sort of fresser. You can't wait until you open the bundle, you just grabbed it right out of the bundle. And that's not the reason. Normally, Rabbi said no. It allows other people to cause you harm by you grabbing vegetables out of this bundle for whatever reason. In Kishuf, it helps other people get to you. And now the Gemara says, Rav Chizda v'Rabbi Baravuna v'Koazli Barbo. Rav Chizda and Rabbi Baravuna, a great story. We're on a ship, on a boat. Amr lahu ahi matrunisa, this wealthy noble woman said, hey, could I join you on the ship, on the boat? You're going anyways. Let me come with you. No, you can't come with us. Amra milsa asarta larba. She said a couple words, she gave a spell, and the boat stayed still, did not move. Amru inu milsa sharyu. So they said something, and they were able to undo her spell. Amr lahu ma'eveluchu. And she said, I cannot do any more spells on you. Why? After they go to the bathroom, they don't use shards of earthenware. I believe this is the Gemara in Brachas that says these are things that are kosher l'kshafim. And she says, because obviously they don't kill lice on their clothing, so therefore I can't get to them. And this is our Gemara. And they don't eat vegetables that are tied down by the gardener. In the beginning I used to think, now we are at we're holding by number 5 only? 6. Number 6. The reason why we don't eat vegetables that fall under the table, because it's disgusting. But Rabbi explained it to me. It could cause bad breath. And number 7, the reason why we don't sit under a gutter, under a drain pipe, because of wastewater that can fall on you. And Rabbi explained to me, because it's possible for the shaidim to get to you. Says the Gemara, an incredible story. There were people, 2 guys that were carrying a barrel of wine, and they needed to rest. So they put the barrel of wine underneath the drain pipe, underneath the gutter, as they call it in New York. What do we call it in Chicago? Forgot already. Anyway, Paka, the barrel suddenly opened up and all the wine was lost. Also the Kamei de Marber Ravashi, incredible. They come to Marber Ravashi, they understood that it's a shed. They understood who did it to them. So they wanted to get back at this shed. They wanted the shed to pay them back. They brought a shed, a spirit. They brought the bad spirit, the devil, whatever it's called in English, the shed. They brought him to Din Torah. Apik shipoiri shamte. Marber Ravashi whips out his shofar, starts blowing the shofar, and puts the shade into a cherem. Also the kamei. So, I'm a cherem, I gotta come. I'm a shade, I have to come to the Rav for the Din Torah. Who gave you permission to break these guys' barrel? Unbelievable. What should I do? They put a barrel, while I was sleeping, they put it into my ear. What do you expect me to do? Of course I had to break it. So Marber Ravashi said to the shade, what are you sleeping in the middle of a street? What's wrong with you? It's your problem. You slept there. They have the right to be there and put down their barrel. You were the one, the homeless guy that was sleeping on the street. That's your problem. Zil Shalem. You must pay. It's an incredible story. Says the shade, okay, I'm going to pay. I'm forced to pay. But I don't have money on me. I forgot to bring my wallet. So give me some time, let me get some money, and I'll come back and I'll pay. So they made up a time, you have to pay by this and this time. What do you expect from a shade? The time came, Yaakov, he wasn't there, he didn't show up. But later on he did come and he paid. What's wrong with you? How come you didn't listen to me? I told you to come at a certain time, you broke it. Says the shade, call mili. There's 4 conditions, 4 things that we cannot take for ourselves. I was hoping to find some goods on the street and pay back with it. I couldn't find anything. Why? Kol mili d'tzayer, anything that's closed, v'chosim, and sealed, v'chayil, and it's measured, money, and there's an amount to it. You sell it by the dozen. We don't have permission to just take it. So you have these invisible shadim running around, and they're grabbing things from people, but they have rules. They can't take something that's closed, they can't take something that's counted, that's measured. So if they have a giant pile maybe of something that's not measured, not counted, maybe they could. We have to find Hefker, and it took me some time to find this guy Hefker. And finally, the last and 8th thing, when you have a barrel of water and people pour off the top of the water, they do so mishum tzifto, because of the floating debris that's on top, like the little, whatever it is, like floating wood. Omar Limar, and Rabbi explained to me, Mishum de'ika mayim haroim. There's really bad waters that are dangerous for a person floating on the top. Says the Gemara, what an incredible day. Another incredible story. Ahu bar Shidu dahava bei Rav Papa. There was a shade that was enslaved by Rav Papa. I don't know what these shadim were. They had interesting shadim in those days. He took him as a servant. Mr. Shade, you're a great guy. Please don't harm my family, but if you want, you can work for me. Please go get me some water. He went to get him water from the river. Yaakov. It took him some more time. Apparently, the Shadim had issues keeping their time. What's why? What's wrong with you? Who gave you permission to come late? He has a good excuse. I was waiting for the bad waters to pass. What are bad waters? Rashi explains these are waters that other Shadim drink from, so they could harm people. So I had to wait. I don't want to harm you and your family. I'm a good shade. So I had to wait until all this bad water passed by. It says Gemara, top of Daf Kuvav Amdala. He noticed that Rav Papa, the shade noticed that Rav Papa's family was very careful that every time before they drank, they poured off some water off the top. Had I known that your family was makbid to take off water from the top, I wouldn't have waited by the river. I would have just brought you bad water. Says Tosfos, top Tosfos. Why couldn't the shade just grab water from the river and pour out the top by himself and give it to them like that? Why couldn't he do it? Or why couldn't he come back and say, hey, Rav Papa, by the way, there's Mayim Roim here. Why don't you do it? We get a new insight to Shadim, which we never had before. This shade was worried that other Shadim would be upset at him. Why are you telling Rav Papa our secrets and telling him that the top water is really bad for humans? Or the pshat is that every individual, before they themselves drink, they have to pour it off. You can't have another person, and certainly not another shade, do the job for you. Have a wonderful, exciting day.